was envisaged on the 8th of January 2015. Where do we stand today? I always enjoy interviewing this personality. He was the founding host of the show Newsfirst in Focus. It's a pleasure to have you on board this time around as well. I've interviewed you as a consultant economist, I've interviewed you as a parliamentarian, I've interviewed you as the Deputy Minister of Planning, and now I'm interviewing you as the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. My first question to you is, Dr. Harsha De Silva, are you satisfied with your ministry?
Well, I, like you just said, have played many roles, worn many hats, and every hat I wear, I try to do my best in that period that I'm there for. So this is a new challenge. This is something that I'm not very familiar with. I haven't had any training, quote unquote, in foreign affairs, international relations. But I think I'm adaptable and I'm able to pick up from wherever the baton is given to me and take it and run. So I got a really nice boss with Honorable Mangala Samarveera. He lets me do my work, gives me the freedom, appreciates my abilities. So with the sort of the guidance of foreign policy, particularly through the Prime Minister and the President, we are moving along, and I think we've done well for ourselves.
Your forte, Dr. De Silva, is obviously economics. How do you bring this to the table as the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs in terms of your role now?
Yeah. See, basically, our foundation is enmity towards none, friendship towards all. Now, within that, what is the future of Sri Lanka's foreign policy? We were with Soros and Stiglitz and Hoffman and all these guys last week, and we identified Sri Lanka's biggest constraint, and that is Sri Lanka's growth is constrained by the lack of exports. So really what we need to do is to align our foreign policy with our economic policy, create markets for our producers, make sure that our geographic location, the strategic location is leveraged to the max, and essentially become a global player. And as the Prime Minister always says, punch beyond our weight class, become the center of Asia. So in that context, if traditional diplomacy was about peace, economic diplomacy is about prosperity. So as we change the page from being on the defensive, oh no, we're not, we didn't do this, we didn't do that, from that kind of engagement with the world, we moved on to a different relationship, where everybody is our friend, like the President said when he accepted the credentials of 8 diplomats day before yesterday. We built friendships, we've renewed old friendships, and the economics of diplomacy, if there's any such thing, would be the game going forward.
Dr. Silva, are you a patriot?
Of course I'm a patriot.
Dr. Silva, we saw the manner in which the last 1 year, in particular the UNHRC resolution coming into being, we saw several high-ranking officials of the US State Department making unannounced visits to the country. Even the media was not aware until they landed in Sri Lanka. Does this bother you in any way?
No, there was only one unannounced visit, and that was towards the end of last year. It was a Christmas vacation by the Assistant Secretary of State, Nisha Biswal. She was here with her family and kids enjoying Sri Lanka, and she wanted privacy, and there was no official engagement there. Other than that visit, and we all kept mum, because when you're a public figure, everybody wants to take photographs, put it on Facebook. I realize this, even if I go out somewhere, somebody's trying, so everyone needs a little bit of privacy. So they get away to places where, the paparazzi are not following. And here she comes to Colombo and everybody's calling me, Harsha, we here, Nisha Biswal is here. That was a private visit.
A private visit meeting several officials of the government looks a bit not matching, Dr. De Silva, with the story here.
No, it's not like that. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. It was purely a private visit. Maybe she, I don't know, she had a chat with A or B, but none of those were official.
Dr. Silva, with regard to the way in which Sri Lanka has moved forward during the last 1 year, as an individual who has always voiced your opinions very vocally in Parliament, outside, are you satisfied with the way in which Sri Lanka has progressed during the last 1 year?
Well, in some areas, yes, I'm extremely satisfied. Some areas, no, I'm not satisfied.
What are the areas you're not satisfied?
Well, we haven't really been able to get machinery moving. And that is not necessarily our fault. The world is also changing. It is becoming that much more difficult. The previous regime had the good fortune of a world where, the economies were really, kicking, and growth was fairly high. Interest rates were low. Money was moving towards the emerging markets. I mean, there was so much money that was, gushing towards countries like ours, whether it be from China, whether it be from sovereign bonds in the international marketplace, or whether it was from other countries. Even though Sri Lanka was not able to sort of claim any significant amount of that money, other countries with better governance, better structures, a more sort of defined economic plan, like Vietnam, like Malaysia, Thailand, and even countries in South and Central America, some countries in Rwanda, in Africa, like Rwanda and others, were able to get that money, right? But suddenly things have changed. You see, China is collapsing, stock markets have, nosedived. They have actually stopped the markets from being open.
Well, let's talk about India. India is very steadily moving forward in terms of the country's economy as well in Asia.
That's the bright spot. That's a bright spot. Whereas others have not. India is doing well, and we have strengthened our ties with India, and we need to ride this wave with India. So that is one. And on the other hand, we had to deal with a whole bunch of unresolved issues, as you know. Various allegations were made, various commissions were appointed to look at projects.
But nothing has been done, Dr. De Silva.
No, don't say nothing has been done, because it took some time, right? I was in the policy office for the first 6 months, and I know the complications that we had to deal with. Whether it is a small roads project or a big roads project, for instance, some had not even been sent through, signatures.
But however, taking a look at the last 1 year alone, we see a lot of allegations being leveled at your government, the UNP-led government right now, especially in particular the highway issue that cropped up, the outer circular highway issue. Then we saw the bond matter coming through very strongly over the last 6 months or so, last 12 months or so. People said that if the UNP was defeated at the August 7th elections, that would be mainly due to the bond issue. Many allegations were leveled at your government.
Well, that is going to go through a select committee in Parliament, and let us use that path to come to a final settlement of that, because that's what the Prime Minister...
I'm talking about overall, the allegations that have been leveled against your government over the last 12 months.
Yeah, there have been certain allegations leveled against us. For instance, take the resignation of Honorable Tilak Marapana. Never in the history since independence had anyone sort of resigned on an allegation, whether it is true or not. And I think it will come to light soon, what exactly happened. And perhaps if Mr. Marapana's decision was, is too much or it was beyond the call of duty, he probably might come back if that's the case. But what I'm trying to say is, our government took measures to ensure, to indicate to the public, we are a responsible unit, that if things like that happen, we are willing to take the fall.
Are you suggesting, Dr. De Silva, that Tirak Marapan might be appointed as a minister soon?
No, that is not what I'm saying. You're trying to put words in my mouth. What I'm saying is, there will be some conclusion to this at some point, and then one will be able to see, who was right, who was wrong. Right? What I'm saying is that he took that decision, and no one has taken such a decision in the past. Sure, people have resigned, but they've been on policy issues, not on allegations of. But on the other hand, look at what's happened to some of the government, even a particular government MP was arrested and subsequently released, and there is enough media freedom to be critical, and so those are the good things. Let's talk about some of the good things also. People feel free. I mean, you cannot escape from the fact that people feel that freedom in the air. People can do what they want, practice the religion as they wish, go wherever they want to, right? Say whatever they feel like saying, right? All those freedoms have once again been, given back to the people. So democracy is really thriving in this country right now.
Are you against nepotism? Are you against impunity, Dr. De Silva?
I'm against nepotism.
What happened over the last few months with regard to a very high-profile minister of your government appointing his brother to a particular institution? Does that concern you in any way?
You see, the other day the Prime Minister, when speaking in Parliament in reply to a question, said there are few ministers who haven't appointed any one of their families to their ministries. But some have, and he said that is perhaps because they are unable to maintain their
suitable.
No, unable to maintain their lifestyles. For instance, the salaries are not enough, so they need another salary to be paid to the wife, salary to be paid to the son, vehicle for the wife and son, because they are appointees of the ministers. And some of us have not done so. Right, and there are many who have not done so. So you take one or two people who have done it, and then use the same broad brush on everybody else. That's not fair. Some people have done it because they have said, well, you can't trust other people. Some people have said, look, they are my relations, they are good at the job, and therefore I appoint them. But I can speak for myself, I can speak for the Prime Minister. I have not appointed anyone in my family to any of the staff that works for me or in
your statement now, Dr. De Silva, is very similar to the statement that was given out by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. I'm appointing my brother as the Defence Secretary because I trust him. I appoint my brother as the Minister of Economic Development because I trust him and I know he can do something. Very similar. Are we sliding back to that era again? That's my question to you.
No, I am not saying, I am saying that. I am saying certain people have said that. I'm not justifying that, right? There can be instances that perhaps can be true, right? Those will be rare. And in such instances, those people will be exceptional. They will be exceptional. If they are not exceptional, that cannot be the case.
Dr. De Silva, President Maithripala Sirisena, making a statement after handing over appointment letters to the Cabinet of Ministers, said that a committee would be appointed under his guidance and the Prime Minister's stewardship to ensure that individuals who are appointed to state institutions will have go through scrutiny, and those who are right, those who are good, will be appointed to the post. In terms of this recent appointment by the minister, did that go through this board in question that is handled by the Prime Minister as well as the President?
I don't know. It may have gone through. I don't know. I don't know.
Dr. De Silva, I know you as a very honest person, but I'm posing this question to you again. Are you honest?
Of course I am. But it is not for me to say. It is for you to say. It is for the people of this country to say. Right? It is not for me to say.
Let's talk about the recent budget, Dr. De Silva.
Yeah.
First time around, people really don't know what is in the budget 2016. What happened?
I mean, you're posing some very difficult questions, but I'm going to take them on. But
as you've always done, Dr. De Silva.
As I've always done. But what's in the budget is out there in the documents that were tabled in Parliament under the day of the budget, and certain subsequent amendments to the budget. Further amendments had been made at meetings between various parties and the President and the various parties and the Prime Minister. Those amendments would soon be tabled, debated and adopted in the House. So once all of that is done, then I guess we'll have a clearer picture of what the budget is for 2016.
Dr. Silva, I'm not asking you in any way to criticize your Minister of Finance, but I'm going to pose a question to you. As you are a very good economist in the country, educated in the US, came to Sri Lanka, did some service in terms of the policy vision of this country. Are we on the right track, Dr. De Silva?
We had the good fortune to meet with some of the best economic brains in the world last week. It was an exhilarating experience, particularly when I was picked by the Prime Minister to moderate the only session between him and Stiglitz, where he wanted to talk about the vision to young people, 150 young people, university students, from youth associations, from youth parliament, tech startups, journalists, etc. It was fascinating, for anybody to be able to have a chat with somebody who's won the Nobel Prize and someone who one has a lot of respect for. But besides Joe Stiglitz, there were many others. Woodruff, then Alan Hirsch, then a famous guy who runs the Harvard Center for International Development, once short-term finance minister of Venezuela before Chavez, now running this center, Ricardo Hausmann, very, very well-respected man. So the research that happened prior to the two-day summit and the discussions that took place there between politicians, senior officials, academics, and so on, that there are 5 major issues that we need to deal with in taking this economy, right? And we can remove our colored glasses of green, red, yellow, blue, whatever. 1, Sri Lanka's growth is constrained due to the lack of growth in exports. Undisputed number 1 issue that we are facing. Number 2, Sri Lanka's revenue to GDP is uniquely very low. 3, we need to have a major structural transformation of the economy, because productivity in rural agriculture is only 1/5 of the productivity in the urban manufacturing and services. And related to that, point 3 is point 4, there is an insufficient urbanization in Sri Lanka in terms of if we want to move towards more competitive exports, we need the kind of fixed assets, the fixed costs that need to go into having air-conditioned offices, proper transportation, the internet services, schools for kids and hospitals for workers, etc. So that urbanization, the platform that brings with urbanization that you can plug a high-end service and play, right, for export. And the last one is about inclusion, right? If you take the country and look at how industries and others, agriculture is distributed on the island, you'll see that some areas have been sort of caught in a low productivity trap, and therefore those people living in those areas.
Dr. Silva, your government get anonymous donations these days. From whom? Your finance minister said that 1 billion rupees has been given by an anonymous individual. 1 billion rupees.
Dollars.
$1 billion by an individual. Who is this person? Anonymous? $1 billion?
I mean, you sound...
Doesn't that raise an eyebrow? You're the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. Who gave you $1 billion?
I mean, you're sort of dramatizing it a bit.
Am I dramatizing it? Okay, it's $1 billion given by an anonymous individual, as the Finance Minister says. Okay, no, I want an answer.
No, I don't know the answer because the Honourable Minister had not disclosed who this person is. But what he had said is that this persons, I don't know, have deposited $1 billion for a 2% interest, and that can be taken out anytime. It's not on a bond or any sort of government paper. So that's all I know. But I think what matters more is the interest differential. Like he correctly points out, in Europe, interest rates are very low. And he has said some Belgian investor, whereas in the US rates are now rising, and March it will rise again most likely with Janet Yellen, sort of ending QE, and American economy is actually doing far better than it was a couple of years ago. The systems are really kicking in, so that means a lot of money is going in that direction. But the interest differential between what we are willing to pay in USD and what some others can get in Europe and Japan, etc., is significant enough for people to come here. So that's what he's really saying.
Dr. Silva, my final question to you is, there was talk of a cabinet reshuffle. Do you see yourself in the same post if there was a cabinet reshuffle? A time to speak and open up. Or would you like to have something else to govern and to take this country forward for a better future, for a better Sri Lanka?
I love challenges. I thrive. Give me something people say I can't do, and I'll do it. When they told, a lot of people said, Harsha can't run for office. What are you talking about? He can, he's not in a ground level politician. I got 114,147 votes in this district without distributing even a takarang sheet. I didn't. Nothing. I gave nothing. Nothing at all. But what I'm trying to say is, if somebody gives me a task, I will do everything in my capacity to deliver.
Whether it's a Ministry of Foreign Affairs or whether it's a Ministry of Finance.
Or whether it is a Ministry of Women's Affairs.
Thank you very much, Dr. Silva, for joining us this evening. Pleasure to have you on board as usual.
Thanks.
Thank you very much again for joining us.